I am dealing with the most important species fauna that has been there in news. Pangolin has been there in news for quite some time now. Now the second in news that we have is Iberian lynx. The third one, that is Tapanuli orangutan. Or if the snow leopard has left the place, it is because the habitat has been destroyed. Southern birdwing, it is basically a butterfly. Hello everyone, welcome to PW Only IS English channel. I am Dimple Nankani, the Faculty of Geography and Environment in the Titan batches, and today we are taking into consideration the prelims examination that you have. Today we are presenting with the species in news with respect to the fauna. We have already provided a similar video of flora. You can check out on our channel. The link would be given below. Now I am dealing with the most important species fauna that has been there in news. You might be seeing that UPSC is keeping on asking questions on the behavioral pattern of fauna. What uses sticks? What is a waggle dance? They have asked these types of questions before also. So here we will start off with species in news, that is fauna. So these all species have been there in news. You have seen orangutan, there is pangolin in news, there is 𝐂𝐿, otter, you have Iberian lynx in news. So first one, we'll start off with the pangolin. The pangolin has been there in news for quite some time now. The IUCN status of Indian pangolin and the Chinese pangolin. So there are two major types of pangolin, Indian pangolin and Chinese pangolin. The Indian pangolin is classified as endangered, whereas the Chinese pangolin has been classified as critically endangered. Okay, not only have they been given they have been mentioned in the IUCN Red List, but also they have been mentioned in the CITES, the Convention to Prevent Illegal Trade of the Endangered Species. There in CITES, there are various appendix 1, 2 and 3. The appendix 1 is the one that offers the highest protection to a particular flora or fauna. So here this one, pangolin, has been mentioned in appendix 1, which provides the highest protection to the pangolin. Okay, but despite that, the pangolin has been traded illegally. That is why it has been there in news. Apart from this, there have also been legal protection that has been given at the Indian level, the Wildlife Protection Act. There are also various schedules. 1972, there are various schedules. Schedule 1, it is listed in Schedule 1. Therefore, it is also provided highest protection at the international level as well as at the national level. Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act provides highest level of protection to a species. So, Wildlife Protection Act of Schedule 1, CITES, Appendix 1. You can see this is how a pangolin looks like. These are the various scales. It has a particular behavioral pattern wherein when it sees an enemy or a threat, it can roll into a ball and all the scales will be popped up. So it offers protection to itself by rolling itself through a ball, and the spikes would come up, these scales would come up. So this is the pangolin. Now why this has been known? Because on the World Pangolin Day, that is on 18th of February, there was a fact sheet that revealed that there is illegal trade and there is increase in the illegal trade of the pangolins in India. So there is increase in the illegal wildlife trade of the pangolins in India. This was told on the World Pangolin Day, that is on 18th of February. So now let's know something about the pangolin. You should know that this is one of the most trafficked animal globally. At the global level, it is quite traded illegally, it is trafficked. Why? Because the scales have medicinal properties. Okay? So it is the only mammal wholly covered in scales which is used by themselves to protect themselves from the predator in the wild. How do they protect? We've already seen that. The pangolin is widely distributed in India. It is widely distributed. Indian pangolin, it cannot be found in the arid region, or it cannot be found in the higher reaches of Himalayas, too cold for them, too dry for them, or too wet for them. So northeastern, the high reaches of northeast region, Himalayas, the high reaches of Himalayas, and in the arid conditions. If I talk about the pangolin, what do they eat? They are known as ant eaters. They eat ants, they eat termites, the larvae, and are often called as scaly ant eaters. Okay? You will find Indian pangolin and also Chinese pangolin in India. So it is not that Chinese pangolin cannot be found in India. It is also found in India. Where are they found? You will find them in the flooded habitats, flooded forest, the tropical forest. You have thick bushes that you have cleared and cultivated areas. So grasslands mein milega. bushes में मिलेगा, forest it will be found on the forest as well as on the cultivated areas. We've already seen that why it has been traded, because the scales, they have medicinal properties and they are used in the making of medicine. Now the second news that we have is Iberian lynx. You can see it has a fur like leopard. It has a good fur, but it is a cat. It is not a leopard, it is a cat. Now why this has been news? Because there has been improvement in the number of Iberian lynx. The not only all is as bad for all the species, some things have also improved, like the Iberian lynx, the number have increased. Okay, so they have been in news because the IUCN has changed the status to vulnerable than endangered. So vulnerable, being classified in vulnerable category, is still better than being classified in the endangered category. So due to the significant improvement in the conservation status, you should know in which cities appendix does it come, in what schedule does it come. So it also comes under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act. It also comes under Appendix 1 of cities, and now IUCN has classified as vulnerable. There has been improvement from the endangered category. If I talk about why this has been in news and how the numbers have increased, so there was a time when there was just 62 in numbers, and around 2001 there was just 62. So from 62 they have improved to 642, 648. So this is in 2001, and in, let's say, next 20 years, 21 years, the number has increased 10 times. You can see 62 to 648, greater than 10 times has increased in the 20 years that we have. Now the current status, that it is still estimated, if I talk about present day, that is 2025, it is still estimated to be about 2000. So the numbers have further increased from 642 in 2-3 years. What is Iberian lynx? We've already seen it's a cat species. It is sexually dimorphic. What does the word sexual dimorphism or sexual dimorphic means? Basically, there is difference in the body, in the biology, in the physiology of male and female. The female look different, they have different features, whereas the male look different, they have different features. So these are sexually dimorphic. The males are heavier, the males are longer than the females. If I talk about the distribution, Iberian lynx ka, you can see it in the Iberian Peninsula. The Iberian Peninsula is about this is the Iberian Peninsula, the Portuguese and the Spain region. So in this place you will find, in Himalayas you will find also this Iberian lynx. So Eurasian lynx is also found in the Ladakh region. Okay, they are known for the long legs. They have a lot of long, you can see they have long legs, they have pointy ears, they have a leopard like fur. So they have long legs, they have pointy ears that you can see, and they have a fur like that of the leopard. So that's how it looks. Okay, the next one very nice, very interesting, is 𝐂𝐿𝐴, four-horned antelope. So there are 4 horns that you have. So this is the devil that you have is 2. You have 2 and 2. So there is 4-horned antelope. 𝐂𝐿𝐴 bhi kehte hain. So 𝐂𝐿𝐴, you might have heard about 𝐂𝐿𝐴, Barasingha. Barasingha has 12 antelope deer. So this is a 12-horned antelope is called as Barasingha. The 𝐂𝐿𝐴 is 4-horn antelope. Okay, the protection status or in the IUCN red list is vulnerable. So this is also at a decent level. So this is vulnerable. Therefore, it is also not in cities appendix 1. It is in cities appendix 3. Cities appendix 3, wherein the trade can happen. It does not have as much of protection as mentioned in appendix 1. So this is mentioned is in appendix 3, it is vulnerable. However, in India it is given lot of protection. Therefore, it is mentioned in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. This is a rare four-horned antelope. This was photographed first time at Noradehi Sanctuary in MP. That is the formal name. The other name of Noradehi Wildlife Sanctuary is Virangana Durgavati Tiger Reserve. UPSC keeps on interchanging the names, so you should know both of them, the names. Virangana as well as Noradehi, you should know about it. If I talk about 4-horned antelope, it is known as 𝐂𝐿𝐴. They are one of the smallest antelopes that is found in Asia. The smallest one is 𝐂𝐿𝐴. It is endemic to India. It is Nepal. It is found in Nepal. It is also found in the foothills of Himalayas, Deccan Plateau. So the Deccan Plateau are the Himalayas. The habitat that a deer has, they eat grass, they need open habitat. So you will need open, dry, deciduous forest in the hilly terrain. Okay, they try to avoid human settlement because of the animal man conflict that can happen. They are easy to hunt and they are not as dangerous. As well as the dogs, they avoid the places which are occupied by the dogs. So the areas that are occupied by the dogs, by the humans, they are avoided by these antelope. You should know this about the antelope, that it is one of the smallest, is found in Asia. It prefers open deciduous forest, the grasslands it prefers. Now the next one is Markhor. This is the Markhor, you can see. Okay, this basically 24th May has been declared as the International Day of Markhor by the United Nations General Assembly. Therefore this has been there in news. If I talk about Markhor, generally seen along the Jammu and Kashmir region, this has also provided a lot of protection under Wildlife Protection Act, that is Schedule 1. IUCN mentioned it's near threatened. Okay, so it is near threatened. So comparatively it is not as suffering. It is therefore not categorized in critically endangered or endangered. This is near threatened list and it is mentioned in cities appendix 1. So appendix 1 of cities, schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act, and the near threatened in the IUCN list. If I talk about 24th May has been declared as the International Day of the Markhor. Now what is this? This is a goat and it is the world's largest goat. Okay? So world's largest goat, where do you find this? You find this in the mountainous terrain, in the mountain regions, in the regions of Kashmir, Jammu and Kashmir. You have it in India. They are primarily found in Jammu and Kashmir, including there are a lot of places in Kashmir. You have Uri, you have Banihal Pass, you have Shopian region. So in the Shopian region, Banihal Pass, Qazi Nag, Uri, Pir Panjal range, you find them. And globally it is seen along South Asia, Pakistan region, Afghanistan region, also the Central Asia, Uzbekistan, Turkmenistan, Tajikistan, the mountainous topography. So the Central Asian, the parts of Pakistan, Afghanistan and Kashmir, you have this wild goat, that is world's largest goat, that is your Markhor. If I talk about, there have been a lot of efforts to preserve them, to conserve them. Not only have we mentioned them in the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act, that at the national level, but also at the state level, there has a lot of protection that has been offered to Markhor by Jammu and Kashmir government, that there have been Kashmir Markhor Recovery Project, okay, by the Wildlife Trust of India. So there is Wildlife Trust of India that have come up with a project, that is Kashmir Markhor Recovery Project. It focusing on protecting the habitats. We will protect the habitats and we will also reduce the human activity that is considered as endangering the animal. So like livestock grazing, we will try to mitigate. And because of this effort, that is Kashmir Markhor Recovery Project that has been started by Wildlife Trust of India, there has been significant improvement in the numbers of the Markhor population. Where do you see them? You will see them in some of the protected areas. We've already seen Shopian, Uri and other places, but also Hirpora Wildlife Sanctuary, as well as Tatakuti Sanctuary by Jammu and Kashmir government. They have taken some effort, so they have created some of the sanctuaries. The state government's effort should be recognized here, because to use a land for wildlife sanctuary, for to use a land for protection of a species is very, very important, because there's a lot of competing needs that the land have. The land is used for development, the land is used for urbanization, it is used for infrastructure, railway connectivity, various other things. So it is a good effort that the government also recognize the importance of the environment and the species. Therefore Hirpora Wildlife Sanctuary and Tatakuti Sanctuary, that has been recognized by Jammu and Kashmir government, should be recognized. The next one, olive ridley turtle. The name turtle, we know that it's a species wherein which survives on the water as well as the land. Okay, similar, the tortoise is more on the land, but turtle can be both on the water and the land. There are various types of turtles in India, and one of them that is generally in use is olive ridley turtle. Where does it get its name from? It gets its name from the olive color, dark green color. Therefore it is known as olive ridley turtle. Now why this is generally in news? This is generally in news because of the mass nesting that takes place along the coast of Odisha. Along the coast of Odisha, there are a lot of olive ridley turtle that will come up and they will hatch their eggs there. They will mass nest there, and the eggs give birth to the new turtles there. So that is why this is there in news. Lot of efforts have been taken to conserve the olive ridley turtles as well, right? The mass nesting sites are called as aribadas. So a lot of efforts have been taken to preserve, to conserve aribadas. Lot of restrictions are there that the lights should be switched off in the night. Lot of efforts have been taken. So this is mentioned in the IUCN list as vulnerable. It is mentioned in the Appendix 1 of the cities. It is mentioned in the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. So Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act and the Appendix 1 of the cities, and IUCN, it is considered as vulnerable. If I talk about, they have begun nesting along the Bay of Bengal coast, especially along Odisha. They have begun nesting now. Olive ridley turtle, they are not only seen in Indian Ocean but also in the Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, the warm waters of all the oceans, okay? Pacific, Atlantic and Indian, the three of the oceans. They're known for their mass nesting called as aribadas. Olive ridley turtle, they usually nest 1 to 3 times per season. So in the season they will nest 1 to 3 times, and they come along the Gahir Mata coast, that is along Bhitarkanika National Park and Odisha's Rushikulia Rukri. So Rushikulia River, along the Rushikulia River, you will see along Gahir Mata coast, Bhitarkanika National Park, you will see that Devi River as again a river that is a distributary of Mahanadi. They are found along the mouth of the rivers, Devi River and Rushikulia River. They are omnivorous, okay? That is, their diet composed a lot of algae, crabs, mollusks. So they are not herbivores, they are omnivores, that you should know about the turtle. The next thing that we have is ghadial, the Indian ghadial. So there are three main species of crocodile. You have saltwater crocodile, you have marsh crocodile, and you also have ghadials. Okay? So all the three varieties you will see in India that is found. But now presently we are talking about ghadials. Now the interesting feature about the ghadial is that the scales of the ghadial, the scales that you have, they are not overlapping. They are not overlapping, they are distributed, they are well distributed, they are not overlapping on one another. And a very interesting thing that you should know about ghada. Why is ghadial known as ghadial? It is because of ghada. What is ghada? A earthen pot that you put water. Okay, so that hole, that circular earthen pot is known as ghada, and from that the ghadial has derived its name. Why? Because you will see at the snout of the ghadial, there is a ghada type feature. There is a ghada type of feature. So this is the snout of ghadial. At the end you have a rounded feature that you called as ghada, that resembles a ghada, therefore it is called as ghadial. Now this is very, very important for you, that this is critically endangered. The species is under a lot of threat, and therefore they have been classified as critically endangered by the IUCN list. It is mentioned in Appendix 1 of the cities. It is mentioned in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. So this critically endangered, Schedule 1 and Appendix 1. Now why has this been in news? Because now you will see that this ghadial has also been found in a place which we were not expecting it to be found. It is found in the Kaziranga National Park of Assam by the Forest Department, Greater Kaziranga National Park of Assam. There have been ghadial that has been found. This has been verified by the Forest Department as well. If I talk about ghadial, they are the largest crocodilians. There are three main types of crocodilians found in India. So they are one of the largest one. They have their skin that does not have overlapping scale. So it is up to 7 meters also they can have their length. So they are very, very large. Such large feature, when you see them you will obviously get afraid. So they have a thick skin, they have smooth skin, they have non-overlapping scales. Ghadial gets its name from the word pot, that is ghada, because of the bulbous knob that it has at the end of the snout. The snout is the feature, long feature, and on the end it has a knob that is called as ghadial. The snout is uniquely thinnest and the most elongated among the crocodiles. So this is thinnest but the most elongated snout. So it's very thin but it is quite long. This is very, very thin but it is quite long. This is about the snout that we have seen. The adult male have a large bulb at the tip of their snout. Female and male ghadials, they also have different appearances, they differ in sizes. If I talk about ghadial, you should know a very important thing, that they get their name from gavial. Gavial means fish eating. So ghadials are fish eating species. They eat fish. They are fish eating crocodile, and even they are the largest, only the largest adults, the adults only eat the fish. The younger gharials, right, they will feed on insects, they will feed on larvae, they will feed on small frogs. So the smaller one do not eat as much fish, the larger one they eat the fish, the smaller one they feed on larvae, insects and the small frogs. Occasionally some gharials also scavenge the dead animals. So if the dead animals are there, it can also scavenge. Gharial does not eat human, it is fish eating. It will not feed on the humans, they will not consume human. Okay, despite their size, the jaws are not suited to devouring large mammals. Why? Because the snout is as much, the size is too big, it's 7 meter, but the snout is framed as such, they cannot eat larger mammals, they cannot take the larger mammals, they eat smaller fishes, they eat smaller frogs. That's how the nature shapes. When the nature shapes differently, the eating habits also changed. Let's learn about something more, that they have been believed to be living in the wild for 50-60 years. Therefore they are like other reptiles, they also have been living for 50-60 years in the wild. If I talk about gharial, you will find them at Indus River, Ganga River, Brahmaputra River, Mahanadi River, Brahmani, Baitarni river system. So they are found in the river system in India, Bhutan, Bangladesh, the Nepal region, Pakistan region, that is along the South Asia, you see them along the rivers. They were also seen in Myanmar's Irrawaddy river. The current population is such that it is so low that it is classified as critically endangered by IUCN. That means we need to have some idea about what is happening to the population. Why is the population so low? What have we as humans been doing that the population is reducing? Okay, so basically they have been found in the river habitats with, in the sandy banks, in the steep banks. You will also find them in Girwa, Chambal river. So what are we doing in the rivers that is, reducing their numbers? We are damming the rivers. We'll put dams that will lead to diversion of their path. So damming the rivers, stopping the flow of the rivers, stopping the ecosystem. So one part. Even we use the water for irrigation, so we are diverting the water for irrigation. There's also seasonal drying of the rivers because of the climate change, global warming, too much of water used by us. That is why the prey on which they eat, the frogs, the insects, the larvae, they are depleting, they are getting reduced. Therefore the population is getting affected. There is habitat destruction. Yes, we are spoiling the rivers, we are polluting the rivers, we are spoiling their habitat. There is egg harvesting that is going, and the poaching of the body parts that we already do for many of the animals, but we will not leave gharial as well. So that's why this has been there in news, and because the population has become low, and now it has also been found in the Kaziranga. UPSC has already asked a question on gharial, that what is the reason for the declining population of gharial somewhere in 2013. They have asked this question, 2012 or 13. You can check it out. So this was about gharial. Now because the population is declining, there have been efforts that have been taken. For example, there has been a project, that is Project Gharial or Project Crocodile. This was initiated in 1975 by FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, which is an international organization, and United Nations DP Development Projects, UNDP and FAO. Don't say UNEP, it is UNDP. UNDP and FAO, they have combined together and they are working on Project Crocodile. The three Indian states, that is MP, Rajasthan and UP. MP, Rajasthan and UP, they all have taken efforts for the conservation of the gharial reserves. We know gharial is found along the rivers, Chambal river, you have rivers like Ganga, Brahmaputra, Irrawaddy river. So the efforts have also been taken by the state governments for the efforts for the conservation. There have also been, to understand the behavior of the species, there has also been efforts taken by WWF India. We have taken efforts, WWF India, to understand the underwater behavior. How do they behave? What is the habitat of this gharial? WWF India and the University of Tokyo have also started off a study on the gharial biologging science. So to understand the habitat, the efforts have been taken by WWF in India as well. Let's also know about some other species of crocodile. We should know that one of the good fact is that in Odisha, in the Kendrapara district, the only district in India, all the three species of crocodilians are found. One is gharial, one is marsh crocodile, and one is the saltwater crocodile. So saltwater, marshy as well as gharial. All the three species are found in Odisha's Kendrapada district. Let's deal about Maggar. Maggar. Maggar is a very very dangerous species. It is a egg laying. It is a egg laying species. It will lay egg. It will develop a hole. It will nest itself in a hole. So it is living in the hole. It lays its egg, and it is one of the dangerous species that you have. That is marsh crocodile. It is mainly restricted to Indian subcontinent. You will find mainly them in the Indian subcontinent, and you will find them in the coastal saltwater lagoon. ठीक है, they are found in the salt water, marsh crocodile. So they are found in the saltwater lagoons, they are found in the estuaries, and they can also be found in the fresh water. So marsh, basically in the estuaries, in the fresh water, as well as in the salt water places you can find. ठीक है, gharial was there in the fresh water, in the rivers. Marsh is in the fresh water as well as coastal water, and salt one is in the salty water. So what I'm saying, that there are three species. One is salt water. This is found in the oceans along the coast, because it is only salt water. Then you have gharial. Gharial was seen in the fresh water, that is in the rivers. And then you have what? You have gharial, then you have marsh. The marsh one is also found in the fresh water, plus it is also found in the ocean coast. It is also found in the ocean. So the next one, the third one that we have, is the estuarine or the salt water. It is considered as the earth as the largest living crocodile species. They are also known as man eater. Okay, so they are the one that feeds on human. They are called as man eater. That is your estuarine or the saltwater crocodile. They are seen in the Odisha's Bhitarkanika National Park, Sundarbans in West Bengal, Andaman and Nicobar Island. They are also found in Southeast Asia. They are also found in the northern Australia. So we've understood the habitat of the maggar, we've understood the habitat of the marsh, which is both, and we've also understood the habitat of the salt water. We were focusing here marsh pe. The marsh lives on both on the coast as well as the fresh water. It is endemic to South Asia. It is restricted to South Asia, and also in some of the countries of South Asia it has become extinct. For example, it has become extinct in Bhutan. It has become extinct in Myanmar. It's extinct in Bhutan, extinct in Myanmar. If I talk about what are the threats to the marshy crocodile? Habitat destruction, fragmentation, fishing activities, use of crocodile for the medicinal purpose. Here, the marshy one, which is found both on the salt water and fresh water, it is classified as vulnerable by IUCN. It is mentioned in Appendix 1 of the cities. It is mentioned in the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. So it is mentioned in Schedule 1 and cities Appendix 1, but it is classified as vulnerable by IUCN status. So this was the second crocodile. The third one that we have is the saltwater estuarine, the man-eater, the most dangerous, found in Sundarbans, found in Bhitarkanika, found in Andaman Nicobar, and also in the Southeast Asia and Australia. What is the problem with them? The threats is illegal hunting. They have been hunted. They are also habitat loss. Okay. Now there is antipathy towards the species because of the man-eater. So you eat us, we'll not leave you. That's what we believe, and therefore there's antipathy towards them, and therefore they are hunted, they are traded, and there is also habitat loss. This is considered as least concern. There's too much of this saltwater crocodile, so this is least concern. बहुत ज़्यादा हैं. There are too much of these species. The cities, however, list them in the Appendix 1, but there are few countries wherein in the cities they are also listed in Appendix 2. They are listed in Australia, in Papua New Guinea, in Indonesia, in these countries, Indonesia, Australia and PNG, the surrounding one, they have been listed as Appendix 2 for the cities. However, in the Wildlife Protection Act, they're still in Schedule 1. There was a movie which was featuring Rekha. Okay, they're in Khoon Bhari Maang. Yeah, wherein the husband had pushed Rekha and the crocodile had tried to eat it. What was that crocodile? That crocodile was saltwater crocodile, because they are famous, they are infamous for eating the man or eating the humans. So that was this one. You link your studies to movies, you link your studies to the extra knowledge that you derive, and that will become easy for you. So gharial, the fresh water, salt water is the one that is man-eater, and in the marshy one can live both on the salt water as well as the fresh water. So this is about your crocodile species that we have. Now the next one, orangutan. This is Sumatran and orangutan. Okay, look at the fur, this is red color. Look at the face is more of the length is like this, it is broad, it is long, it is broad and long, and the fur is red color. This you should know about the Sumatran orangutan. Now why this has been in news? Because of the particular behavior of this orangutan. It was seen that this orangutan was using a plant for treating some of the issues that it had on its face. So what happened? A male orangutan that was seen in the Indonesian island of Sumatra, it was seen by the scientists that it is using a medicinal plant, Akar cunning, or the yellow root, to treat a wound on the face. On the face there was some wound and it was using that yellow root to treat. That means look at the sensibilities of the animal. Look at the sensibilities of this red color Sumatran orangutan. We know that we humans share similar genes with the orangutan. Not only 1%, 2%, 97% of the human genes, okay, matches with this orangutan. So it is very interesting. They are like brothers and sisters. Okay? They are more similar to our natural brothers and sisters. Okay? So Sumatran orangutan, it is listed as critically endangered. The population is less. Therefore, it is listed as critically endangered. It is also mentioned in Appendix 1 of the cities. It is Sumatran orangutan. Therefore, there's nothing written about the Wildlife Protection Act of India. It is found in Sumatra. It is found in Indonesia. We are reading about the world level species as well. Why in news? Because of their behavior. So therefore, we are not writing about WPA, Wildlife Protection Act. It is seen that by looking at the incident, we were appreciable of the cognitive capacity, okay, that they can treat an active wound. So we know that the cognition capacity to treat the wound using plants is as old, very, very old. It is not something unique to human. It is also seen in orangutan, the last common ancestor of orangutan and human. So the last common ancestor of orangutan and human, both of them have these cognitive capabilities to preserve themselves, to conserve themselves, to protect themselves. And the idea, the knowledge of using plants is also present. If I talk about orangutan, they are also called as the man of the forest. In the forest, there's this man that protects the forest, man of the forest. They are one of the species of apes. They're one of the great species of the apes, other being gorilla, chimpanzee and bonobo. They are also the other species of apes. So ABC, okay, you have C is chimpanzee, B is bonongo, GBC, gorilla, bononzo, chimpanzee and orangutan. Okay, so you can use this as Boxy, that is bonobo, orangutan, gorilla and chimpanzee. Though orangutan are the least closely related to human, but still we have 97% of the DNA. They are not much close to humans. Okay? So I was just joking that they are more closer to you than your brother and sister. I was just joking there. 97% of the DNA is still the same. They are found in the islands of Sumatra in Indonesia, and they are also found in Borneo. The Borneo island, which has Indonesia, Malaysia and Brunei country. This island hosts 3 countries, Malaysia, Indonesia and Brunei. So it is also found in Borneo, it is also found in Sumatra. There are various types of orangutan. Taxonomically, you will have Sumatran orangutan, you have Borneo orangutan, you have Tapanuli. Okay? So these are the 3 types of orangutan. We are talking about the present one, that is Sumatran orangutan. This is found in Sumatra. They have longer facial hair, we have seen. They have reddish fur, we have seen that. So 3 species, Sumatran, Borneo and Tapanuli. Sumatran, they have more hair. They have on the face. They are red in color. If I talk about Borneo, B for Borneo. They have broader. B for broader face. They have broader face. They have black base. B for Borneo, B for black base. So they are a little more darker. It differs in appearance from the Sumatran orangutan with a broader face. They will have a more broader face, and they also have a darker skin color. That is the black base they have, and they have a shorter beard. The beard is short. ठीक है. The third one, that is Tapanuli orangutan. This is the third species of orangutan that was announced. The third species was announced in November 2017, so nearby. It is seen in the North Sumatra, and they behave actually quite different from the other species, and therefore it has been just given the recognition. So Sumatran, Borneo, and Tapanuli. The next in list we have is sea otter. If I talk about sea otter, this is listed as endangered in the IUCN Red List. It is mentioned in the Appendix 1 of the cities. So Appendix 1, therefore highest protection. It is also listed as endangered. Therefore, the protection has to be given to this species. This is the sea otter. You can see. How does it look? It's enjoying playing in the sea. Now, why this has been seen in the news? It has been seen in the news because sea otter has been seen to be using some tools. See, the ability of the mammals, of the animals to use the tools is not something that is unique to humans. They have been surviving in the forest, so they have been using the tools. So they have also, a new study has also shed the light on the usage of tools by the sea otter. Now, they have also been there in news because there are other animals also that have been using the techniques to feed themselves. They have been using tools, like you have chimpanzees. They have been using stones to crack the nuts, to open up the nuts. So the stones to crack the nuts, and the sticks to get the termites. The termites can be used, the stick can be used. You have dolphins also. The dolphin, they use sponge to protect their beaks while they are eating. So the beak can be protecting using sponge. So this is also a tool. We also use stones to cut, to throw, to break the nuts. The idea has also been used by chimpanzee. The Galapagos finch, that is in the Galapagos Island, there's bird. They use cactus spines to dig out of holes. To dig something out of the holes, they use the cactus spine, not their beak. The spines is used by the cactus. From their beak, they'll use them. It helps ease the work. So the conservation of energy is there in the nature also. Now, if I talk about sea otter, they are intelligent mammals. They are strong swimmers. They can swim well. We've seen that in the picture. It was enjoying in the sea. It also has, they are very, very resourceful. They are very, very intelligent to solve a problem. They are skilled at using the objects, like they will use the rocks. They will crack open the hard prey to attack the prey. They'll access the food that would be otherwise difficult to eat. So sea otter, that ways you have the use of the tools by the sea otter, and very good swimmer that we have. Sea otter, they have been given protection under cities. We've seen them, that it has been given protection under Appendix 1 of the cities. The fur basically is protected. Therefore, the International Fur Seal Treaty, there is a treaty that will protect the fur of the species. They will regulate trade and hunting to protect the otters. So this is a treaty, the International Fur Seal Treaty. They are used for regulating hunting and trading. That they will use to protect the fur of them. There's also one act, that is a Marine Mammal Protection Act. They are also given protection under this, that is protecting the otters from the exploitation in US. So this is not Indian Act. Marine Mammal Protection Act is USA Act. They are protecting the animals in US. So international treaty, cities, US maybe protection. In the US waters, the behavior that is there of the sea otter, they will float on their back while they are feeding. We've already seen they were eating. It was eating and it was floating on its back, relaxing. The common prey, you have crabs, you have mussels, you have clams, you have snails, you have these worms and mollusks and other things. Crabs have been eaten by this sea otter. A beautiful feature, young feature, interesting feature that you have. There's another otter, that is Eurasian otter. This is not as of a big concern as that of the sea otter. This is near threatened, but given protection under Wildlife Protection Act of Schedule 1 and also the cities Appendix 1. The Eurasian otter has been discovered in Chinar region, Chinar Wildlife Sanctuary. That is first time seen in the Kerala. So Chinar Wildlife Sanctuary, you have seen Eurasian otter. There are other otter species also seen in Kerala, not the first species of otter that is in Kerala. You also have coated otter, you have small cloud otter. The claws are small. So small cloud otter, the clawed otter, as well as you have the Eurasian otter and the other smooth coated otter. So this is the Eurasian otter seen in Kerala, Chinar Wildlife Sanctuary. Chinar, don't get confused, don't say Kashmir. Chinar Wildlife Sanctuary is in Kerala. It is a semi-aquatic mammal. It is generally endemic to Eurasia, so semi-aquatic, sometimes in water, sometimes on the land. This is a mammal. They live in variety of aquatic habitats, including the highlands, like lakes, rivers, streams, marshes, swamps, forests, and the other coastal areas. The species is distributed in Europe, Asia, Africa, and they occur along the India also, the northeast India, the southern India, the northern India. So this is found across India also, the northern, northeast, and the southern India. You'll see them in Europe, you'll see them in Africa, you'll see them in Asia. They are found in the marshy forest, swampy areas, as well as the lakes. So that's about your Eurasian otter. It is endemic to Eurasia. The next, generally there in news, is snow leopard. Lot of efforts have been taken for the conservation of the snow leopard. For the conservation of the snow leopard, lot of efforts have been taken. Blue-eyed, you can see the beautiful picture that we have here. This is shown as blue-eyed. Okay. Now it is listed as in the IUCN Red List as a vulnerable, Appendix 1 of CITES, Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act, and also the Convention on the Migratory Species. It is also mentioned in CMS, the Convention on the Migratory Species. It is also mentioned in Appendix 1 of that. So a lot of protection has been given to the snow leopard. Now why this has been used in the use? Because there have been a scientific survey that India has lot of around 700 snow leopards. The study has been seen to know the numbers of the snow leopard. If I talk about there's also, this is in news because the president of Kyrgyzstan, they have also declared snow leopard as the national symbol of Kyrgyzstan. So this is also there in news, Kyrgyzstan mein. Now lot of efforts have been taken. One of the effort has been taken to measure the population, that is SPAI program, Snow Leopard Population Assessment. Okay, Snow Leopard Population Assessment. This is the first ever scientific exercise that has been done, which took around 4 years, which got completed in 2023, and now it is complete. So it says there are about 700 snow leopards in India. So this was there in news. Now we know that. Now whatever the agencies involved in this study, the WII, that is Wildlife Institute of India, as well as this was there, the major one for snow leopard population assessment. This was the one, that is your Wildlife Institute of India. What are the regions that have been covered in snow leopard? Trans-Himalayan region. Along the Himalayas, you will see snow leopard. Obviously, you will need snow. वहाँ पे snow leopard होगा. So you need snowy places, which is Kashmir, Ladakh, ठीक है, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, as well as Arunachal Pradesh. So the northern parts of Himalayas that we have, okay, the northern parts of Himalayas that we have, we'll see the snow leopard. Okay. If I talk about the foundings that have been done for the snow leopard population assessment, we said that there was about 700 population. It is seen majorly in Ladakh. Ladakh mein sabse zyada hai. Ladakh, then Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Arunachal Pradesh, less in Kashmir. What is important as it is more in Ladakh, less in Kashmir. Highest in Ladakh, very less in Kashmir. Okay. The Kashmir is comparatively more developed, and that was also one of the reasons that they will not be more there in Kashmir, but will be more in Ladakh. It is more of serene. It is not as much of the man-animal conflict. So this says that India has about 10 to 15% of the global population of the snow leopard. So 10% of the global population in the 2.4% of the land that we have. It's a good number that we have. Okay, the geographical distribution whereon you will find snow leopard along Himalayas. We saw Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh. This is the Indian side, but Himalayas also extend to Afghanistan, Bhutan, China, India. So you'll also find there. You'll also find snow leopard in the Central Asian, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan. Kyrgyzstan has declared it as to be national symbol. You'll see in Mongolia, Nepal, Pakistan, Russia, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan. So the Central Asia part, the Himalayas that extends in India, Nepal, China, Bhutan, as well as Pakistan and Afghanistan, and the Central Asian, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan is where you have this snow leopard. What are the issues that the species is facing? It is facing habitat loss. It is facing habitat loss. There's a lot of habitat loss that is happening. There is habitat destruction. There is invasive other species which are causing issues. There is climate change that is also causing problem, pollution, and also there's There's a lot of impact of the pollution and climate change on the species. So habitat destruction, animal plant conflict, invasive species, this all is creating problem for the snow leopard there. If I talk about the next one, about the snow leopard, these are indicator species. They are the top predators. They are indicator species. They indicate something. If you don't have snow leopard, you will see that, or if the snow leopard has left the place, it is because the habitat has been destroyed. It can point that there is more of global warming that is happening. So it is a top predator. It is an indicator species. Therefore, it is preserving the health of the mountain ecosystem. If we have snow leopard, we know that the mountain system is still healthy. If you don't have snow leopard, there is something that is problematic to the mountainous system. They are seen along Central Asia. They are seen along Indian subcontinent. We see them in Western Himalayas. We see them in Eastern Himalayas. The Hemis National Park of Ladakh, they are known to be the snow leopard capital of the world. The snow leopard capital of the world is in India. It is in Hemis National Park in Ladakh region, and Ladakh has a lot of population of the snow leopard even in India. The efforts that have been taken for the conservation of snow leopard, I said that a lot of efforts that have been taken. Pehle to we estimated the number of population. Then you have snow leopard programs. What are the program? Project Snow Leopard. In 2009, this was taken. We started a project Snow Leopard, wherein we were talking about the participatory approach. We will use community approach, we will use villages, we will use the help of the tribal population to conserve the snow leopards. Therefore, project Snow Leopard, not just project of Government of India, it is a community driven project as well. You will use community. Then we went for species recovery program. There's a species recovery program which mentioned many of the species that we want to recover, and one of the species that we want to recover is the snow leopard. So it is critically endangered species, 22 species, and one of them is snow leopard in the species recovery program of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. If I talk about secure Himalayas, the secure Himalayas, if you secure Himalayas, you'll secure snow leopard. So there is secure Himalayas. The GEF, that is the Green Environment Facility, which is funded by UNDP. Okay, it is a project to conserve high altitude biodiversity, local communities, and its dependency on the natural ecosystem. So if you secure Himalayas, the species would be itself be secured. So secure Himalayas, the snow leopard conservation program, you have project Snow Leopard, you have species recovery program, and the global snow leopard and ecosystem protection, that is GSLEP, global snow leopard project that you have. So it was seen in 2013 through Bishkek Declaration. It's an intergovernment alliance for the snow leopard. India is also participating in it. So it's an international program, global snow leopard program, in ecosystem protection program that we have. The next one that we have is the Great Indian Bustard, a beautiful gibi, a beautiful bird that we have, Great Indian Bustard, one of the tallest bustard. So it is mentioned in IUCN critically endangered list. If the number is less, we should know. Critically endangered hai, cities ke appendix 1 mein hoga. It will be listed in cities appendix 1. It is also listed in the conservation of migratory species appendix 1. It is also listed in the Wildlife Protection Act, that is the schedule 1. So schedule 1 of the CMS, the schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act, schedule appendix 1 of the CMS, appendix 1 of the cities, and also in the IUCN critically endangered list. If I talk about why this has been news, because the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change has given approval to a project, about 56 crore worth project, for the conservation of gibi, the Great Indian Bustard, okay, and also lesser florican. So 2 species, they have been given nearly the budget of 50 crore for the protection, and the most important of them is the Great Indian Bustard. It is the largest. It is the largest among one. So this is the largest among the 3 bustard species that are endemic to India. In India, you also have Bengal florican, you also have lesser florican. So out of these 3 species that we have in India, the Great Indian Bustard is the largest one. It is also the state bird of Rajasthan. Presently, we have about 140 Great Indian Bustards, and we have less than 1,000 We have less than 1,000 lesser floricans that are surviving in India. It is mostly confined in the dry areas. The Great Indian Bustard is mostly seen in the dry areas, the largest of the 3 species that we have of the bustard species. Therefore, it is seen in Rajasthan, Gujarat, some smaller population also in Maharashtra, Karnataka and Andhra Pradesh, but more towards the western side, that is Rajasthan and Gujarat. It is of the flagship species of the grasslands, and it is an indicator species of the grassland ecosystem. So this also indicates the health. This also indicates the health of the grassland ecosystem. So this is what we have. Then while we are doing the bustard, we'll also understand lesser florican. We've seen 3 species: lesser florican, Bengal florican and bustard, the Great Indian Bustard. Now we are talking about the lesser florican, somewhat lesser in height. It is critically endangered. This is also critically endangered, mentioned in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act, and it is mentioned in the Appendix 2 of the cities. If I talk about the lesser floricon, this is also referred to as lick or kharmor. Okay, it is the smallest bustard, so therefore the name lesser. So smallest bustard, lick or the kharmor. It is endemic to Indian subcontinent. It is also living in the tall grasses. So this is about your lesser florican. If I talk about the lesser florican, here the one of the most interesting feature, distinctive feature, is the mating strategy. How does it mate? Where male will fold their legs and they will leap 2 to 3 meter during the breeding season. So the male is indicating they are folding their leg and they are leaping forward. They will flutter rapidly. They'll flutter as many as 600 times during a day. Okay, just, and they will also emit a croak like sound. So the mating strategy is very, very interesting here, that you should know. You know the places where they have been found. They are found in the drier parts. Then coming on to a very ferocious species, that is leopard. It is mentioned in the Appendix 1 of the cities. It is mentioned in the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act, and it is classified as vulnerable in the IUCN Red List. Now, there was a report that was there, produced the status of leopard report in 2022, that was given by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. What was the report? That was the recent report that we had. What was the report about? The report said that this was the 5th cycle. There are cycles in which you estimate the leopard population. So this was the 5th cycle of the leopard population estimation that took place in 2022. And they covered lot of forests, they covered tiger states, they covered lot of Himalayan landscape. The other landscapes also were covered. So high Himalayas, arid zone, non-forested habitats were seen. The report of that snow leopard, the 5th assessment cycle, that was given by NTCA, National Tiger Conservation Authority, as well as Wildlife Institute of India. The report says that the leopard population has been growing. That is a good news, that the leopard population has been growing, and about 70% of the population, okay, the population covers about 70%. It was seen, the tiger habitats were seen, and the 70% of the status was taken in the 70% of the habitat, and that told us that the population is increasing. The population has increased most in the central India than in the eastern Ghats. So it has increased in central India, it has increased in eastern Ghats. Okay, the central India and the eastern Ghat, but it has decreased in the Shivaliks and the Gangetic plains. So the northern part, it has decreased. The eastern part and the central India, the population has increased. So this is about your snow leopard. State wise, if you see, it is the MP that is housing the largest number of snow leopard. MP, followed by Maharashtra, followed by Karnataka, followed by Tamil Nadu. Okay. So MP, Maharashtra, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. If you go north to south, MP, Maharashtra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu. This is how the population is. MP most, then second Maharashtra, then Karnataka, then Tamil Nadu. This is what you have with the leopard population. The 2 tiger reserves that are having the largest population of the leopards are Panna, that is in MP, and Satpura, followed by Nagarjun, Sri Salim. So Panna and Satpura in MP, followed by Nagarjun, Sri Salim, is about the leopard population. You will find them across the India. They are found in the northeastern state, the dense forest of the northeastern state. You will see them in Himalayas. So in the northeastern states, in the Himalayas, in the Thar desert, they prefer dense forest. Leopard prefers dense forest and grassy terrain. The dry terrain also is one of the preference of the leopard. So the dry terrain, the grassy terrain, but it can adapt to human dominated landscapes also. You'll see leopard is also seen in the human dominated landscapes. Okay. So the grassy terrain, the forest, the human, so it's a huge, it can have a lot variety of the habitats that the leopard can survive upon. Now, what are the physical characteristics? It is a medium-sized cat. They have yellow and the golden coat covered with black spots, which looks beautiful in the forest. We have seen a leopard in your Pench National Park. We had seen leopard, we had seen tiger. To look at these cats in the in the serenity of the forest, in the core areas, is beautiful. So yellow color, black spots, ferocious, the long cat that you have. It is smaller, though it is smaller than the Bengal tiger, but larger than the other wild cats in India. It is obviously carnivorous. It will feed on variety of animals: deer, wild boar, monkeys, even smaller mammals. They are opportunistic feeders. They can scavenge when the prey is scarce. If they don't have the prey, they'll scavenge also. Papi pet ka sawal hai. It's all about the hunger that we have. The behavior, it is solitary and it is nocturnal. You will not see too much of them in the daytime. You will see them in the morning hours, early morning hours, or late night, and they are solitary. They have their own territory. They'll live there in their own territory. They primarily hunt at the night. They are strong climbers. They are good swimmers. The leopards are also, they can carry their prey up to the tree to avoid any sharing, to avoid scavengers. So they'll carry their prey to the tree. They can climb tree. They are good climbers. Okay. Now, they play a very important role in the ecosystem. They control the prey population. They are keystone species, indicator species. They help in maintaining the biodiversity. If I talk about what other efforts have been taken, we have seen the report. The fifth assessment report was by NTCA and the WII, that is Wildlife Institute of India. So now NTCA, what is NTCA? It was established under the Wildlife Protection Act. So it's a statutory body. It is a statutory body. It was established under Wildlife Protection Act. It is a part of the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. What do NTCA do? So it will give authority to the Project Tiger. Okay, and it will make the guidelines legally binding. It will also take into consideration the livelihood needs of the local population. If the local population have some livelihood needs, they will also, in the vicinity of the tiger reserve, see, if you protect the area, the livelihood of the villagers get compromised. So it is NTCA's responsibility to take into consideration that the livelihood of the villagers is not compromised. Okay? Kantara movie, you can take an idea from there. So NTCA will also look into that. It will also take into consideration the Project Tiger guidelines are implemented. It will establish the norms in the tourism for the core areas and the buffer areas. So what are the guidelines? It is prepared by the NTCA. It will also resolve the problem between animals and humans. So it is not just the animal. It is also human and animals. It will look into the livelihood concerns, how to mitigate the issues that comes because of the animal-man conflict is to be seen by the NTCA. The next species that we have in news is orcas. Now, what is orcas? It is known as killer whale. Okay, they are known as killer whale. They are one of the largest dolphins. They are dolphins. They are immediately recognized by their black and the white color. They have black color, they have white color that helps in recognizing the killer orcas that we have. They are immediately recognized by the color. They can measure up to 8 meters in length. They are very they have good height, they have good length, they also very heavy, they have 6 tons, they weigh 6 tons as adults. They are very intelligent mammals, they are very curious mammals, okay, which is not known to be aggressively against humans in the wild. Though they are very curious, they are very smart, but they are not against us in the wild. If I talk about orcas, they are one of the most powerful predators also. Such big species, such heavy species, so they are very powerful predators that we have. They use the technique of echocolocation. They use echo to communicate to one another, to find the distance that we have. So they'll make communication through that. They have each pod, each noise that they have distinct communication, they have distinct message that is there, and the member will recognize even at a large distance. So the echo is done and that is being recognized by the other mammals, and it is they're using for communication, to hunt, and also travel the sound underwater while they are moving to counter any objects. If they make a sound, if there's an object, it will come back, it will collide, it will come back. Now they know that what speed are they traveling. They have seen the time also for the sound. So if this says, let's say Orcas, they made an echo, they made an echo. If there was some object, there was some obstacle here, the echo come back. They know the speed at which they are traveling. They know the time that is taken, so they will find the distance. We know that speed is equal to distance upon time. They know the time, they know the speed, they will find the distance. So they are so smart. We developed the formula speed is equal to distance upon time later, but they have been using the technique quite long. So they'll find the distance, the location, the size and the shape using the technique of eco-collation. This is not just a communication that is to be spent, but also a protective measure that is there. You have another species in news, a leopard cat, least concern, looks like leopard but is a smaller cat, listed in Appendix 1 of the cities. It is least concern. It was spotted in Maharashtra in the Pench tiger reserves. Okay, so this was also there. Leopard cat has been seen. We saw leopard. I did not see leopard cat, I saw leopard. Okay, it is a leopard cat. It is a forest dwelling cat known as leopard like coloration. It is also nocturnal. It is also solitary like leopard. It basically controls the rodent population. Okay, it has a lot of kittens. It has a gestation period of about 2.5 months, 2 months. It is living in the tropical forest, semi deserts, similar to leopard, forest, the dry deserts, the dry regions, the agriculture region. It is found in the northeastern India, the northern Himalayan states, like we saw in the northern Himalayan state. You have towards your Bengal region, you have your Arunachal Pradesh, so you will find them there also, West Bengal, Odisha, and also the pockets of the western Ghat. The next one that you have bar-tailed godwits. The bar-tailed godwits that we have. So 5 bar-tailed godwits were observed together at Pulicat Lake, in the Pulicat Lake, by a naturalist, by someone who is interested in wildlife. So this was seen as there were 5, not 1. 5 bar-tailed godwits. They are migratory birds. Okay? They have lot of endurance capacity during migration. They can go on and on. They can fight it all. They are widely distributed in northern Europe, Alaska, Africa, Persian Gulf. Okay, so along the northern reaches of Alaska, along Europe, along the Persian Gulf as well, Europe, India, China, Australia, they're found there. Now basically what is this? They breed in the northern parts. They breed in near the poles, near the Arctic region. Therefore they are found in Alaska, they are found in Europe. You can see this. They are found in Europe. They are found in northern Europe, western Alaska, again near the Arctic Circle. But they are also found in Africa. They are migratory birds, right? So they have a lot of endurance, cold to warm. So they are also seen in Africa. They are also seen in Persian Gulf, along Iran place. India, along India, therefore in India, and also Southeast Asia, China and Australia. So you'll see the Arctic part, the African part, the South Asia part, Indian part, China part, Australia part. So they are such a migratory bird. They have a lot of endurance for migration, but they are basically seen in Arctic. These birds also have unique physiological adaptation to sustain long flights. Such as they'll shrink their digestive organs, like we can shrink our stomach if we don't eat as much. They'll shrink their digestive organs to conserve energy and lose nearly half of their body weight during migration. Okay? The bar-tailed godwit display bold behavior during their breeding time. They often engage, they're very, very bold. They'll engage in territorial disputes also, and you call them as onomatopoeia. That is, they will resemble the sound godwit, godwit, godwit. So onomatopoeic sound is resembled, therefore the name also bar-tailed godwit. According to IUCN Red List, they are near threatened. You have near threatened as the bar-wit godtail. We saw them where? We saw them along the Pulicat Lake, the brackish water lake. We saw them there. Now let's know something about Pulicat Lake. It is the second largest brackish water lake ecosystem in India, followed by Chilika. So first one is Chilika Lake, then Pulicat Lake. So this is your Chilika Lake in Odisha, and you have Pulicat Lake also. Then the lake receives Arani River, Kalangi River, Swarnamukhi River at the northeastern end. It is running parallel to Bay of Bengal. It is a lagoon ecosystem. It is situated in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Pulicat is situated in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, right? This also has Sriharikota Islands, on a barricade islands of Sriharikota. The sanctuary is of various, the Pulicat bird sanctuary also has lot of birds. You have flamingo, you have grey pelicans, you have painted stork, you have kingfisher. So Chilika is also a brackish lagoon, the saltwater lagoon. Even Pulicat is a lagoon. Pulicat is the second largest. Chilika is the largest. Chilika is in Odisha. Pulicat is in Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. Okay. Now, the next one that you have, this one as the turtle. You can see the turtle. It is soft shell. You can see the shell is very, very soft. So this is giant soft shell turtle and Cantor's giant soft shell turtle. It is critically endangered, very, very less in numbers. It is mentioned in Cities Appendix 2 and it is mentioned in Wildlife Protection Act of Schedule 1. Now, the conservationists have recently uncovered the nesting site of the secretive Cantor's giant soft shell turtle. So we were not knowing about the migratory site, the nesting site of this soft shell turtle, that is about your giant Cantor's soft shell turtle on the banks of Chandragiri river in Kerala. In Kerala, you have this Chandragiri river where you will see this turtle. The turtle will nest here. The other name of this turtle is Asian giant soft shell turtle. Asian giant soft shell turtle. This is basically frog shape. The turtle has a frog shape. This is rare. It is secretive. It will inhabit in slow moving fresh water. Very, very slow moving fresh water. And one of them is Chandragiri river. It will be seen in streams, it will be seen in estuaries. You will see them in East India, South India, Bangladesh, Burma, Thailand, Vietnam, China. They spend their life in secret place in the sand. They live in the sand with their eyes in the sand, and their mouth will protrude outside twice a day for capturing the prey. So they'll just come in a very secretive manner. They'll eat their prey and then again go down. So it is covered by the sand, therefore secretive, and it is seen along the slow waters, seen in Bangladesh, India, Burma, etc. The problem with this, it is harvested for its meat, therefore it lives in secret, and it is also hunted. It is hunted. There's habitat destruction for the meat. Then you have the black-necked crane. You can see the black neck. It is near threatened by the IUCN Red List. It is mentioned in Appendix 1 of the cities. It is seen in the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. It is seen in the Wildlife Protection Act, Schedule 1. Now, there have a lot of assessment carried by Wildlife Institute of India as well as Geological Survey of India. They have been carrying out the assessment of the black-necked crane. The black-necked crane, what is the population number that has been seen by them? If I talk about black-necked crane, you will see them India, China, Bhutan. You have these crane there. They basically in winters, they are migratory birds. In winters, they will come back to the lower latitude. In the summers, they'll again go back. So here, in winters, they migrate to the lower altitudes, found in Arunachal Pradesh and Zimthang valleys. They'll also go to higher altitude, marshes, lakes of the Tibetan plateau, especially in the summers, and they also live in the wetlands of Tibetan region. They are revered. They have lot of significance. They are revered. They are worshipped by the Monpa community of Arunachal Pradesh. It's a major Buddhist community of Arunachal Pradesh. So they consider themselves as the 6th embodiment of the Dalai Lama. So they worship Siberian black-necked crane. They worship black-necked crane. Then we have white rhinoceros. You'll see this is rhinoceros. This is a small baby rhinoceros, white in color, so cute. Basically in Berlin, Germany, scientists have announced a successful embryo transfer in a white rhinoceros through IVF. So IVF is being used for the conservation of animals as well. Scientists they have been using, and they have successfully helped in embryo transfer in a white rhinoceros. They created a rhino embryo in the lab and successfully transferred to a mother. So they created an embryo, surrogacy हुआ है using IVF. So surrogate mother using southern white rhinoceros, a closely related subspecies. White rhinoceros, basically there are two subspecies, the northern white rhinoceros and the southern white rhinoceros. So this was related, this was done. The mother belonged to the southern white rhinoceros. So where do you find them? You'll find them in Africa, the grasslands, the tropical grasslands, the savanna of Africa. The population of the northern white rhinoceros has declined. Therefore, using IVF, it has been transferred to a surrogate mother. Now, why did the population decline? It was once seen across the Central Africa along savanna, but then there was illegal poaching because of the demand for the horn of the rhinoceros, and that wiped out the entire population of the white rhinoceros. Now there have been efforts taken for the conservation of the northern white rhinoceros. We should know the difference between the northern white rhinoceros and the southern white rhinoceros. Before that, we should also know the difference between white rhino and Indian rhino. White rhino is seen along South Africa. It is seen along savannas. Indian rhino, we know you have in the Kaziranga, you have Povitaro National Park, you'll see them in Assam, you see them in Nepal, you see them in the riverine forest. If I talk about the northern white rhino, it is critically endangered. The southern white rhino is near threatened. And if I talk about Indian rhino, it is vulnerable. So 3 rhinos, 3 different categories. Northern, critically endangered, southern is about near threatened, and the Indian is vulnerable in nature. Then you have another one, kangaroo lizard. The lizard has been discovered in one of the biodiversity hotspot in India, that is Western Ghat. So kangaroo lizard has been discovered in the Western Ghat. This is a tiny lizard, also known as Agastha gamma edge or the northern kangaroo lizard. Okay? So this is the lizard that has been found. It basically feeds like any lizard. It feeds on small insects. It runs fast. It hides within the dry leaves to evade the predators. It will not climb. It does not climb as much. Okay? Because it does not. The 5th toe, it is very, very small in size, and therefore it cannot climb nicely like the other lizard. It feeds on insect, but it is not a good climber because the 5th toe is small in size. Where it has been found, it has been seen in Western Ghat. It has a dull olive brown body, a dark brown stripe. So that's the appearance that we have. Then you have frog, golden back. You'll see the back is golden color. So golden back frog. It has been seen in the Kaundinya Wildlife Sanctuary of Andhra Pradesh. There are a lot of wildlife sanctuary. One of them is Kaundinya Wildlife Sanctuary in Andhra Pradesh. It is belonging to a species of frog. It belongs to Ranidae family. It is endemic to Western Ghats, therefore seen in Kerala and Karnataka, also seen along the Palaghat Gap. Okay? It is a very, very small, it is just the size of a thumb. This is a such small size it can have. Here the picture is bigger. The thumb-sized frog. Frogs are very small, वैसे भी. They are seen in evergreen and semi-evergreen forest, seen along Western Ghat. Therefore, obviously, evergreen and semi-evergreen forest. You'll see them in streams. You'll see them in water bodies. This is the golden back. You will found them in the Kaundinya Wildlife Sanctuary of Andhra Pradesh. They are insectivorous. The problem is pollution of the problem that they face is pollution of water bodies. You will introduce non-native species, invasive species, hunting, fragmentation, habitat loss. These are the golden. The next one, golden back frog we've seen. The next one is Himalayan ibex. You'll see the ibex. Okay, basically wildlife authorities in Himachal Pradesh, they have conducted the survey to estimate the blue sheep population. The blue sheep population, Bharal as well as Himalayan ibex. So Bharal ki bhi or Himalayan ibex ke liye wildlife authorities, they have been working to know about what is the number that we have. Basically this is least concern, not much threat is there. It has been recognized for their horns. You will see the horns. They have contoured horns. The horn shape is very, very nice, as well as they have a beard here. You'll see the beard. They have beard. The beard as well as the horns. Okay? The beards and the horns, which are primarily reason for their poaching. They are poached. The Himalayan ibex is male one. They have longer and larger, heavily ridged or heavily carved horns as compared to females. So they are hunted for their horns, but still they are least concern. The Trans-Himalayan region of Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, they have Himalayan ibex. The predators, it is the predatory animals like snow leopards. You will have leopards, the mountain fox, eagle, they are there. They are seen in the Siberian region and Himalayas one. Then the next one is you have Himalayan magpies. This is also least concern, not as much of concerns, therefore mentioned in Schedule 2 of the Wildlife Protection Act. They have lot of wide distribution. You will see them in Myanmar, you see them in Kashmir. They also are known for their good sight. They are very, very common sight. They have good eyes also. They are belonging to Corvidae family. Like that have crows, jays, ravens. So it belongs to the family of crow. Okay? It will inhabit the entire Himalayan region, the Indian subcontinent. So not much of concern, Himalayan magpies, but you should know about it. Then you have limbless amphibian. You can see there's no limb. There is no limb, there's no hand, there's no leg. So a limbless amphibian, basically the stripe 𝐂𝐂𝐻𝐿 has been discovered in Kaziranga National Park and the Tiger Reserve in Assam. You have basically smooth body, cylindrical body. They have a lot of rings on the bodies. They don't have limb, therefore limbless amphibian. The smooth body, ringed body patterns, but they don't have hands and legs. They are living in underground. They live underground. If I talk about the diet, they are carnivores. They feed on small insects, invertebrates. They'll feed on soil, they'll feed on litter. Okay, they're not very easy to locate, also, and they have poor eyesight. They don't have good eyesight, therefore they cannot they cannot locate their prey. So they use some chemicals. They use some chemical spray. The chemical analysis is used by them for their prey, for catching the prey. Basically, that's the point that you should know. They don't have limbs and they use chemical analysis, chemical sprays for locating their prey. They are seen in Africa, Asia, America. They can reproduce in various modes. UPSC keeps on asking, amphibians, do they lay eggs? They don't lay eggs. How do they reproduce? So they can use 3 varieties. They are oviparous with free living aquatic larvae. Okay. They can be oviparous with direct development. They can be viviparous, both terrestrial and aquatic. So viviparity mode as well as oviparity mode can be done by them. So there are 3 main modes of production that we have. Then you have a catfish. You will see a fish with the appearance of the scale-like cat. The CSIR, the scientist of the CSIR, they have found the armored sailfin catfish. So a new armored sailfin, you will see fins, catfish, and it is armored. It has some weapons. So new armored sail fin catfish has been seen in the 60% of the water bodies of Eastern Ghats. So a lot of water bodies of us Eastern Ghats they have. This is basically known as devil fish, Rakshasi, or the devil fish. It is armored. So you'll see Orinoco River Basin in Venezuela was the native habitat. Basically they feed on algae, they feed on weed, they feed on worms, they'll feed on insects, they'll feed on invertebrates as food. This is seen in Eastern Ghats coming from Orinoco Basin. It is a nocturnal bottom dwelling fish. So it is coming up in the night. It is nocturnal. It dwells in the bottom. It is not seen on the surface as much. And it likes the warm water about 23 to 27 degrees Celsius. It is an invasive species. Obviously, when it has come from Venezuela and it has occupied 60% of the waters in Eastern Ghat, it has to be invasive. Itna zyada population, so big population that we have. So it was introduced as an ornamental fish trade. It looked beautiful, so it was introduced for that, but now it has become invasive. It is threatening the local biodiversity. There's a lot of competition with other fishes. It is altering the food web. There's increased turbidity. So there's a lot of, because they'll burrow there, therefore there will be a lot of dust that will be there, which is disturbing the other species. There's a lot of competition for food also due to the burrowing behavior and the bank erosion. They also eat a lot of food that is eaten by the other aquatic animals such as manatees. They also threat to the fishing net. Okay, they have a lot of spines. They have a lot of, therefore armored, right? They have a lot of spine which can cut the fishing net as well. So they are posing a threat to the fishing net, and they have caused a lot of injuries to the fishermen also in some instances. It is very, very dangerous that we have. Then you have Indian wild ass. Okay. The IUCN Red List, it is near threatened. Cities Appendix 2, Wildlife Protection Act, Schedule 1. So this is something factual that you should know. There was actually a survey conducted to measure the population of the Indian wild ass by the Gujarat Forest Department. So Gujarat Forest Department conducted a survey. If I talk about the Indian wild ass population in Gujarat, the population has increased by about 25 to 26%. The previous population was about 6,000. This is now about 7,500. It has increased lot of them since 1976. It was just 720 then in 1976. Now it has increased. The districts have also been mentioned that it is more in Surendranagar district than Kutch district. You need not remember the districts. Basically, you should know that the wild ass can survive in extreme temperature. Okay? So, कहते हैं ना, they are very, very hardy species. They can survive with 45 to 50 degrees Celsius temperature also, and even if there's less water. Therefore, seen in the dry region. And you also have a sanctuary, Gujarat's wild ass sanctuary. there these are seen greater in numbers. They can run with lot of speed. They can run with 70 km/h per speed. The other species that also was counted, there was a survey that was done, so other species were also counted. We'll not just see wild ass but also other species. So gazelles were seen, the antelopes were seen, black boar, wild boar were seen. Now you should know about the wild ass, the Equus heminis khur. It is one of the 5 subspecies of the Asiatic wild ass. So one of the subspecies of the Asiatic wild ass is Indian wild ass, referred to as gudkhur. Okay. Where does it live? It's live in the arid zones of the northwestern India. It is seen in Gujarat. It is a solitary animal. It is a shy animal. It will not remain in dense population. The diet is mainly of the grasses. They can feed on leaves. They can feed on fruits of the plants. They will, like Julius prosopis during the size season. They also can, the horns are seen only in the adult male. The horn that is used for foraging activity. So only the males will have the horn, the females does not have the horn. So this is one of the 5 species of the Asiatic wild ass. This is your Indian wild ass. You'll see this. So this appears like a female because it does not have a horn. Then we have gangetic dolphin, blind dolphin, endangered animal. You have them in the Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. The cities Appendix 1, the CMS Appendix 1. These are migratory species, therefore mentioned in CMS also. Basically, recently the first ever gangetic river dolphin was tagged in Assam. Okay. So it was also seen in Assam region, the gangetic dolphin, and it was tagged there. Basically, a lot of efforts have been taken up. So one of the efforts was this: the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change and the Wildlife Institute of India with the Assam department and the Aranyak, which is a national authority, Campa authority, the Compensatory Afforestation Planning and Management Authority. So WII, the state government, the Campa authority, as well as Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, all 4 of them combined to do this effort. It was the first tagging of the species in India and globally. This was done in Assam. So it was tagged, the tagging was done for the species, and this will become a very important initiative now. Now, the gangetic river dolphin, you should know that it is a cetacean species. It is the national aquatic animal of India. It is also designated as the state aquatic animal of Assam. It is also called as susu because it emits a sound while it comes on the surface to breathe. As it comes on the surface to breathe, it emits a sound and it resembles susu sound, therefore it is called as susu. The gangetic river dolphin is also known as the tiger of Ganga, because it plays that important role. The role that is played by the tiger in a forest is played by gangetic river dolphin in Ganga, because it is a top predator and it is also an indicator species. It is a top predator and it is an indicator species. The habitats, it will live only in the fresh water. It comes every 5 seconds, 30 seconds on the surface to breathe, and it also relies on the echocolocation technique that we have read about it before. Because it is blind, we have seen that every riverine dolphin is blind because of the turbid water, and therefore it uses the technique of echocolocation. So the tiger of Ganga, first tagged in Assam, that is your gangetic dolphin. About 90% of the gangetic dolphin are seen in Ganga, Brahmaputra and Meghna and Karnafuli river system. The physical feature is that it has a long snout, it has a rounded belly, it has large flippers, it has nostril. Okay, so it is one of the species that we have. A lot of efforts have been taken for the conservation. You have India's first national dolphin research center that is there in Patna. You have Vikramshila Dolphin Sanctuary that is there in Bhagalpur. So you have dolphin sanctuary in Bhagalpur. You also have the dolphin research center in Patna for the conservation of gangetic river dolphin. We know what is echocolocation, but still we'll revise. It is a process used by certain animals to navigate. They will move, they will hunt. So there was navigation, there was hunting by the sound waves. The sound waves bounces off the object and return an echo. Then you can locate the size, location, shape of the object. This allow them to even move in the turbid water. So that's your echocolocation and the efforts taken for the conservation of the gangetic species. So let us deal with another species, that is Jordan cursor. Jordan cursor, basically this was there in news because there was a scheme, that is integrated development of the wildlife habitat. So under the scheme, Jordan cursor has been given a protection status. This one, this bird, it has also been mentioned as critically endangered in the IUCN Red List. It is given protection under Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. This basically Jordan cursor has been a rare sighting. It has not been spotted, visually spotted, in over a decade. So therefore, this has been there in news. It is a nocturnal bird. It is found only in the Eastern Ghats. Very interesting and a unique feature. It has a cryptic behavior, not a very obvious behavior, cryptic behavior. Basically, it relies on the camouflage technique. To avoid predators, it can change its color. It is seen along the Eastern Ghats, especially in Andhra Pradesh, along your Sri Lankameshwaram wildlife sanctuary. In the Kadapa, Andhra Pradesh, the habitat is the dry landscape, the grasslands. You have arid, semi-arid regions. Historically, it has been seen across larger areas, but now it has restricted its space, therefore critically endangered, and it is not seen very obviously in the many parts of the country. It is seen in the Eastern Ghats alone, along the Kondapalli Hills and the Krishna district. So this was your Jordan cursors. Then we have a lion-tailed macaque. Macaque is like a monkey. You can see the beard, white beard. It has a tail like lion, therefore the name lion-tailed macaque. The status is IUCN status is endangered. It is mentioned in Appendix 1 of the cities. It is also mentioned in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act. So cities Appendix 1, Wildlife Protection Act, Schedule 1, and also endangered. It is a lion-tailed macaque, has been given birth to. Why is there in the news? Because it has given birth to a younger one at the Chamundi Rehabilitation Center for the Wild Animals at Kurgali in Karnataka. So Kurgali in Karnataka, a small young lion-tailed macaque has been given birth to. If I talk about, they are native only to India. They are living across the rainforest of Nilgiri, that is Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. This was also asked in 2013. It was asked about what is the native habitat, what state does lion-tailed macaque lives. So Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. In the Western Ghat, along the upper canopy of the tropical evergreen rainforest. They are also very territorial nature. They are diurnal or boreal creatures. They live in the forest, they climb the trees. They are diurnal, that is they come, they're not nocturnal, they are diurnal, they are day one. They have 17 vocal calls, they have facial expression, pores and the tail movements to communicate. So they move the entire body for their communication. The protected areas are Kudademukh National Park of Karnataka, Periyar National Park of Kerala and Silent Valley National Park of Kerala. So along Nilgiri, in Periyar, along the Kudademukh and also your Silent Valley National Park of Kerala. Then we have another species, that is southern birdwing. The southern birdwing, this is the one. You'll see the southern birdwing. It is basically a butterfly that is found in Tamil Nadu. Least concern, I will mention in cities Appendix 2, mentioned in the Wildlife Protection Act of Appendix 2. The southern birdwing is the second largest butterfly. Okay. It is the female, or the basically it is the marginally larger than the southern birdwing. So second largest is the southern birdwing. It is smaller, just a little smaller to the golden birdwing. So the largest bird is the golden birdwing. The second largest is second birdwing. ठीक है, और दी southern birdwing. Second birdwing बोलो या southern birdwing बोलो, तो golden birdwing से it is little smaller. The scientific name is Troidus minos. It is the state bird of Karnataka, the southern birdwing, the southern states of Karnataka states bird. It is endemic to South India, particularly in the Western Ghat. Particularly in the Western Ghats you have. Then you have Yana, basically a mammoth elephant, a small elephant. 50,000-year-old fossil remain has been found now. So 50,000-year-old fossil remain of the baby mammoth, baby animal, a baby elephant called as Yana. This has been found by the researchers in the Russia's Siberian region. Basically, Yana is the best now. Yana has been discovered. It has been one of the best preserved mammoth, that body that has been discovered. It has been weighing around 100 kg. It was about 120 centimeter tall. How it has been discovered? The melting permafrost, the permanent frosty layer that was melted because of the climate change, global warming, and therefore the fossils have been found in the Siberian region of Russia. Mammoth, the earliest species, they are known for their large size, the adaptation to the cold climate. Woolly mammoth they had wool, they were widespread type of mammoth. Now this has become extinct. So because of the cold, there were some adaptations that were seen. They had thick fur, they have fatty layers, they have smaller ears. Allen's principle to minimize the heat loss, so smaller ears have been there. It has been inhabited by Asia, Europe, Northern America, and during the different epochs, but they have been adapted to the cold climate. So even Africa was cold once, so even in Africa, even in Asia, they have been found during the different epochs. The time period they actually lived during the Pleistocene epoch, the icy phase, and also the early Holocene period. The Asian elephants are mostly related to mammoths than the African elephant. So this is, the mammoth is mostly close to the Asian elephant and not the African elephant. Then you have a four-ringed butterfly, the great four-ringed butterfly. This has been rediscovered in India in 2018, and it was seen 61 years before. It has been seen in the Namdapha National Park of Arunachal Pradesh, the extremely eastern part of India. You'll see Namdapha National Park. This is the four-ringed butterfly that has been seen. If you look at the four-ringed, it has a brown gray with 3 yellow-ringed eye spots. Okay, so therefore four-ringed. It is larger than many other butterflies. It is seen in Northeast India, in Arunachal Pradesh, which is a butterfly biodiversity hotspot also. So it is one of the largest butterflies that have been seen, the recent discovered. Then you have 𝐂𝐇𝐀𝐍𝐃𝐄𝐃. It is a small species of ground dwelling spider. So spider का एक species है 𝐂𝐶𝐾𝐄𝐃. It was discovered in the Western Ghat. It has been located in Shendurne Wildlife Sanctuary, which is a part of Western Ghat, which is a part of Agastyamalai Biosphere Reserve. The Agastyamalai Biosphere Reserve has Shendurne Wildlife Sanctuary. Here you have found 𝐂𝐾𝐃𝐃𝐄𝐃, which is a spider. Now it is the third species of the genus 𝐂𝐾𝐃, which is documented in India. There have been other species also. It belongs to an ant-eating spider family. Okay, and it has a very small size. It has very small size, very small ducts. So it belongs to an eating spider. Then you have the physiological features. That is fine. You need not know, but just know that Shendurne is a part of Agastyamalai Biosphere Reserve, where you have 𝐂𝐾𝐃𝐃𝐃 that has been discovered. Then you have Citrobagus salventi. Okay, now if I talk about, there was a Brazilian insect by the Citrobagus salvini that has been discovered. It has been discovered and it has been used basically for tackling the problem of an invasive species of weed. So grass, there was a grass which was an invasive species of weed, and to solve the problem, there have been this species of an insect, that is Citrobagus salventi, has been used in Madhya Pradesh. So it has been used as a cost-effective solution to invasive aquatic weed, that is Salvinia mollister. Now you should know about Salvinia mollister, because similarly UPSC has asked about Julis prosopis, which is also an invasive species in Tamil Nadu. So they can also ask about Salvinia mollister. It is an dense invasive free floating plant. So it's a dense plant, invasive plant, free floating plant, remains buoyant on the water surface. It is not attached to the soil. It has become an issue because it becomes a dense mat on the water. It is like a mat that is covered on the water. So it is very, very invasive and it reproduces a lot. It was first observed, this Salvinia mollister was first observed in the Vali Lake, Thiruvananthapuram in Tamil Nadu, and then it has since then, okay, since this was discovered there, the insect was discovered there in Tamil Nadu, it has then since been utilized. Now it has been utilized by the MP government. Now about this Citrobagus salventi, it is native to Brazil. It feeds on invasive aquatic species of plants, that is Salvinia mollister. It has a unique ability. This insect has a unique ability to breathe underwater using air bubbles, which is attached to its body. So it is therefore used as a biological control agent for invasive Salvinia mollister. So this is from our side for today. Thank you so much for being patient. We've completed the important faunas that has been there in the news. Stay tuned for more such videos in environment. We'll come up with more videos. All of you, thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care.